Let's now get some political perspective on the developments, and we're joined via Zoom by political analyst Professor Ivor Sarakinsky. Prof, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us here on SABC News this afternoon.
Real pleasure, Flo, and good afternoon to viewers.
I know that my colleague who is in KZN at the moment, Samkela Maseko, will later on be speaking to the Premier of KZN, and I thought perhaps that's a good place for us to start our conversation, Prof. Let's start with this. I mean, can the ANC, and particularly the ANC in KZN, survive this, given the amount of support that we saw that the former president still enjoys? I mean, it might be that, you know, they're creating a martyr without planning to.
Well, that's one of the dynamics that flows out of this. And we are seeing over time a decline in electoral support for the ANC in parts of KZN. And this event, the imprisonment of former President Zuma, could speed up, exacerbate, accelerate that decline in certain areas, and the ANC could suffer electoral losses there. But that's not the issue, really, because it's about national constitutional rule of law issues in terms of constitutional principles which transcend the ANC. And that seems to have been the winner in this whole dynamic in terms of our new dispensation. So on that side, positive. But the ANC is a political party. Yeah. They rely on public support, whether they like it or not. That's how it works.
Yeah, I beg to differ. I do think that it is quite important, because we are discussing the political ramifications, and I do want to specifically talk about the ANC at this time, and I will continue on that point. We've seen that those who've openly come out, in support of the former president being cast out or sort of temporarily suspended. Is this a firm posture, do you believe, of power, by making it clear that those who openly support him will have no room to maneuver within the party? A sort of step in line or step out kind of stance?
I don't think that describes what's happening. The ANC has always been a broad church right from its origins in 1912, and it's always dealt with differences of views, different groupings, different personalities over that time. Yeah. What has always been the case is that you agree to disagree within the parameters of the ANC rules and culture and norms of behavior. And if you transcend that, then firm action is taken. And over the years, we've seen exactly that in the 50s, in the 60s, and in more recent times with other people who were expelled or suspended, the enforcement of an ANC code of conduct. And that's absolutely right. Every organization has the right to discipline its members who cross the line in terms of expected behavior. When you become a member, you sign a code of conduct. If you breach that, then disciplinary action could be taken. So I don't think that this is action against Zuma supporters per se. I think it's action against those who cross the line in terms of acceptable behavior.
Yeah, and in broad terms, I mean, I've obviously zoomed in on the ANC, but then I now want to go, in broad terms politically in the country. What exactly does this incarceration then mean in South African politics as a whole?
Well, it's quite significant in a number of ways. The first one, it shows that everyone's equal before the law, and high office and political connections can't protect you forever from accountability. And that message is very important for all those politicians and public servants and citizens who are engaged in nefarious acts. So that's positive. It could have a cleansing effect on our body politic in that regard. In terms of the politics, we wait to see how much actual support former President Zuma has. We can't easily extrapolate from the support outside Nkandla to the country as a whole. There are a whole range of regional and other dimensions which complicate that. So we wait to see how significant that support is. And if it is significant, well, then the mobilization of that support has obvious political ramifications in terms of ANC internal power struggles and in terms of broader political stability in the country. So there's a bit of a what if there. We don't know at the moment the extent. It's got massive implications for the internal politics of the ANC with the factional battles going ahead, and we wait to see how that plays itself out. At the moment, it seems as if President Ramaphosa is holding his margin of majority in the NEC and other ANC bodies. That could change depending on power dynamics, the fluidity of political support. So a few unknowns there.
Yeah. Just in closing, I mean, you talk about President Cyril Ramaphosa, and interestingly, I've seen some debate and conversations on social media, some saying this would be the right time for the current sitting president to have something to say about the incarceration of a former president, and some saying it's inappropriate for him to say anything or have anything to say. And I wonder where your mind is in relation to that. What are your thoughts?
I suspect that it's best for President Ramaphosa to say nothing about this. There are allegations and rumors and conspiracies about him being involved in this matter, which I doubt the veracity thereof. And for him to make a public utterance is going to fuel those conspiracies. So the law must take its course neutrally and objectively, and he must stay out of that, and he must deal with ANC matters inside the ANC in accordance with ANC process, and he must govern the country in accordance with the Constitution, which is separation of powers. The executive does not interfere with the administration of justice through the judiciary, and keeping quiet reinforces those values, and that can only but be positive.
All right. Professor Ivor, thanks for giving us your time. Much appreciated. All right, that's Professor Ivor Sarakinsky, political analyst, weighing in on the incarceration of the former president.